Yeah, welcome back to the channel, guys. Good to have you here. I decided to do a live video just documenting this kind of article that came out today by Ann Starnoff, CEO at Warner Media. I'll just make sure that we're working on YouTube. One man show, gotta make sure everything's working. Okay, I think we're working now. Yep, okay, that's us. Okay, yeah. So, I just want to do a quick video talking about this today. Yeah, because a lot of people are pissed on the timeline on Twitter right now over some of the stuff that's being said. Like today was supposed to be kind of a celebration because a Satana film was greenlit. The director from Promising Young Woman was going to be the director. Really good film. Emerald Fennell, I think her name is, and I was looking forward to that big time. But then an article came out then and really just dashed our hopes and optimism for the future, and you're just like, Warner Brothers, why do you do this? Why do you, when we're on a high, when we're looking forward to something, why do you cause shit like this? Why are you trying to defeat yourself? Like the Snyder Cut right now is one of the biggest DC movies of all time. It's definitely one of the biggest DC movies in the last few years. I've never seen so much hype around a movie, probably since Batman v Superman, to be honest. I know Aquaman made 1 billion, and that was fantastic, but I didn't see the hype around that movie, even though it made 1 billion. Plenty of movies make 1 billion that aren't really that interesting, like the Transformer movies have always done it. But yeah, I just think that films like The Joker, another movie that Warner Brothers didn't want, and a movie like Zack Snyder's Justice League are the most successful ones that they've had. So it is interesting. Just one sec, guys. Cool, cool. So yeah, I just think it's ridiculous. So this article came out today, and I want to get into it with you guys and just go through it and hear your guys' thoughts. But yeah, today should have been a day for Satana, for Emerald Fennell to have her hype. Everyone get excited for that movie. But then this article comes out, and that's it's gone away right now. I think even The Rock said that Black Adam is 3 weeks away from shooting, and he can't wait and stuff like that. Like that's where the hype should be right now, around the upcoming projects. But then you have an article coming out saying maybe no more Snyder Cut, maybe no Ayer cut. Like I'm like, what are you doing to yourself? It's a bit ridiculous. It really is. And Skull T7 goes, and Sarnoff saw all their success and was like, let me cut that short. Yeah, it's like really getting rid of the hype train. Like Snyder Cut comes out, yeah, and especially when you're trying to give your money to them, you want Joke or all these kind of characters. So like why can't we? It is annoying in that way. But yeah, this article, so it was published by Brett Lang today, 22nd of March 2021 at 10 a.m. Warner Media's Ann Starnoff on Zack Snyder's Justice League and DC future. So let's get into this, guys, and let me know what your thoughts are. I'll probably put the link in the description if you guys have not seen the article yet. If I can just share it, I'll share in a second. But yeah, I'll just get into it. Are you guys saying anything else? Karen is here. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Appreciate you stopping by. I hope the video is not stopping too much. First time doing it on YouTube live, so let's see how it goes this time. Just kind of an experiment. But Warner Media's Studios CEO Ann Sarnoff says that the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League would complete the director's superhero trilogy, reinforcing the studio's desire to move past the social media campaign to hand back control of the DC film universe to the filmmaker. Instead, Sarnoff believes that the future of DC is more than just movies. She's excited about a multi-platform future, one that sees Batman, Superman, The Flash, and other Justice League members popping up on streaming shows, video games, television spin-offs, and big screen outings. It's a vision that echoes what Marvel has been doing with its Avengers characters. Why are you trying to be like Marvel again? Taking superheroes like the Vision, Scarlet Witch, Hawkeye, and Loki, who have previously appeared only in movies, and giving them streaming shows of their own. But that's not even proven to be a success yet, so I don't know what she's trying to talk about. The Warner Media Studios chief is also excited about the diverse range of creators she's been enlisting to tell some of these stories, which includes tapping between the World and Me author Ta-Nehisi Coates to write a Superman film, or developing Blue Beetle, which marks the company's first Latinx superhero movie. Yeah, but Zack Snyder's cast is very diverse. It really is. I'll get into that in a second. But the article goes on to say that, but Sarnoff may have to deal with an unruly and embodiment fan base, one that successfully pushed Warner Media to release a 4-hour R-rated version of Justice League, which was truer to Snyder's darker vision for the character. Sarnoff spoke to Variety on Sunday, 5 days after the Snyder Cut started streaming on HBO Max, about catering to DC's fanbase, the future of DC, and actor Ray Fisher's allegations of misconduct and racial bias during the shootings of Justice League. Said to Aaron Sarnoff, "Why did you decide to release Zack Snyder's Justice League?" And she goes, "We wanted to give Zack the opportunity to complete his vision in a 4-hour movie, which is impossible to do in theaters. We're happy that we have HBO Max to let the rope out, as it were, and allow the fans to see all 4 hours of Zack's vision." Another question: what are your plans going forward for DC? We've got an incredible group of creators, television series creators, Max series creators, feature film creators, who are basically broadening the base of the talent that we work with on DC, because we're so excited about the potential to build out the DC multiverse. It's one of the reasons why I was hired almost 2 years ago. The before and after it was a very different organization with no continuity between the businesses. DC was being developed, but in a kind of methodical way in each division. My mantra coming in was to make it bigger and broader, and we really wanted to surprise and delight the fans with more connective tissue across the various media and platforms. I'm talking movies, HBO Max, television, and our games division. Another question: the Snyder Cut came about because of a fan campaign online. Do you feel like you need to strike a balance between being responsive to fans and charting your own course as a company? How responsive do you believe DC should be? We're always going to listen to our fans, but we are in service of the broadest fan base, and we owe them an integrated, holistic strategy. We are the shepherds of the franchise, and hopefully when the fans see what we've got in store, they'll know that DC is in good hands across many different platforms. But with many different creators, we want different voices in the mix. For certain fans that want singular voices, they may be disappointed, but we would ask them to be patient and see what we've got in store, because perhaps the newer voices in the mix will have just as a compelling stories to tell. On balance, you of course want to listen to your fans, but we do want to stay true to our vision and our mission for DC and build that out. Yeah, okay, but we're the ones paying to see this stuff. We have weekly meetings with our key executives in every division. Last August, I was made head of studios and networks, and now I have all the creative groups underneath me. So now around that table, it's not just Warner Brothers Film, Warner Brothers Television, Warner Brothers Games, but it includes HBO and HBO Max and the Turner networks, Adult Swim, and the kids and family networks. We are involving all of overt ways, like opposite the Suicide Squad. We're spinning out Peacemaker with James Gunn and John Cena, developing that for HBO Max. It's my job to make sure we super serve our fans across all demographics and all fan bases. Another question is, there's also been a toxic side to the fandom, with reports that critics and some of your executives have received threats for not endorsing the Snyder Cut or for being perceived as standing in the way of its release. What's your reaction to that behavior? We're not tolerating any of that. That behavior is happening no matter what franchise you're talking about or what business you're talking about. It's completely unacceptable. I'm very disappointed in the fans that have chosen to go to that negative place with regard to DC. With regard to some of our executives, it's just disappointing because we want this to be a safe place to be. We want DC to be a fandom that feels safe and inclusive. We want people to be able to speak up for the things they love, but we don't want to be a culture cancelling things that any small faction isn't happy with. We're not about that. We're about positivity and celebration. Man, these guys are very annoying at times. The campaign for hashtag release the Snyder Cut has moved into a new phase. It's now hashtag restore the Snyderverse. What's your reaction to this new campaign? So this is the CEO, guys, of Warner Media. I appreciate that they love Zack's work, and we are very thankful for his many contributions to DC. We're just so happy that he could bring his cut of the Justice League to life, because that wasn't in the plan until about a year ago. With that comes the completion of his trilogy. We're very happy we've done this, but we're very excited about the plans we have for the multi-dimensional DC characters that are being developed right now. There's another question. Will there be more of these director cuts? Will we see David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad? And she simply goes, "We won't be developing David Ayer's cut." That's pretty annoying now to hear. A bit disrespectful towards David Ayer to put it in that way as well. Another question. Looking at the DC slate, there seems to be an emphasis on creating opportunities for diverse creators and characters. You've got a Latino superhero movie with Blue Beetle, Sasha Calle becoming the first Latinx actress to portray Supergirl, and Coates writing a Superman movie, which is probably going to be a black Superman. Is there a concerted effort to take this brand in more exclusive direction? She goes, "It's super important to me and it's in line with what we want to do. We want to branch out and let creators interpret parts of the universe in unique and special way." Quote, or Patty Jenkins, Matt Reeves just finished the Batman movie. And Batman is different than other takes. Even familiar characters have lots of possibilities. You talked about breaking down the company. What does that mean for DC? Creators want to have franchises that are larger than life, but oftentimes you start working with a company, and that company has discrete divisions. So you become a film creator, you become a television creator, and never the two meet. My role is to pull people together towards a vision that can make the whole more than the sum of the parts. One of the key aspects of this is having a long range plan. These movies and TV series can take 2+ years to make, so if you're not planning out and bringing other people into the plan, that further accentuates the silos. It's having the plan and then having the strategy, where all the various businesses work in harmony to create the plan. It seems logical, but it's very rarely done well. One of the things I said to the group early was never let your fans see your org chart, and boy, could the fans see our org chart in 2019. How do viewers and fans see that doesn't really matter to us, really, because they're not listening to us anyway. Here's another thing about Ray Fisher. Ray Fisher has accused Warner Bros. Executives of racially biased behavior and of trying to impede an investigation into alleged misconduct on the set of Justice League. Did your investigation corrupt any of his claims of racism on the part of your employees? Now, this is where they defend each other. No, our investigator judge Catherine Forrest has issued statements specifically about DC Films president Walter Hamada, saying that there was no evidence for interference by Walter in the investigations. She said that the cuts made in Joss Whedon's version of Justice League were not racially motivated. We took it very seriously, so we hired one of the top investigators out there and gave her a tremendous amount of leeway. Like, I don't know if it was racist, but Ryan Chow character wasn't in it. Victor Stone's mother and father were cut out of it a lot. Victor Stone's whole arc was cut out of it. Yeah, I don't know. Another question. Ray Fisher has previously stated that because of non-disclosure agreement, he can't share specifics about the abusive behavior he endured on set of Justice League. Is there an NDA that will prevent him from publicly sharing all the details of what transpired on Justice League? And this is what she says. Not that I know of, no. So Ray Fisher's next tweets, it will be very interesting to see if he starts spilling the beans about exactly what Walter Hamada get up to. And here's another question about Walter Hamada. Walter Hamada has been on the receiving end of a lot of fan criticism. What was his involvement in the production of Justice League? Here's what she said. Walter, until the following year. About a year ago, Walter, Kevin Riley, Sarah Aubrey are around a certain table with Zack and greenlit the Snyder Cut. That cut includes Ray Fisher's entire story as Cyborg, which is something that he had been disappointed had been cut from the Justice League movie 3 years ago. Perhaps we've lost the plot a little bit, which is what Toby and Walter were part of the green lighting that allowed Zack's vision to come to life, which includes sharing the full story about Ray's character. There really was nothing that Walter did against Ray. In fact, he offered him a role in the Flash movie. See how they push each other up? See how she mentioned every single person, Toby Emmerich, Bob Greenblatt. She mentioned all those people there, got together and made the Snyder Cut happen. Well, why didn't they make the Snyder Cut happen in the last few years? You know, so it's just it's crazy how they push themselves up and say we offered Ray a Flash role. He turned it down. We're the ones who made sure that his whole arc in Justice League came to light. You know, they're trying to paint themselves as the heroes. He talked about enlisting a broad range of voices when it comes to charting the future of the DC. Is there one person calling the shots? The connective tissue in the middle is Jim Lee, who oversees DC Comics. Jim lives and breathes the canon of DC. He works with all the divisions to make sure the storylines are true to the canon. He helps them come up with the ideas for new storylines. Jim is very much in the middle of everything, but the group together helps spur on new ideas. But there's not one person calling the shots, because I want all the voices in the room to offer their expertise and knowledge of their voices. So yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff, guys, when you really get into it all, because they say they listen to the fans and they preach diversity, and they don't listen to the fans. And Zack Snyder's movie is full of diversity. All his movies have been, and they've been driven by women, by black heroes. So, and then to them to turn around and say the Snyder Cut's over, we're going in more of a diverse direction. Like, what was Zack Snyder doing over here all this time? It's crazy. It really is crazy. The next kind of question, I'll just see if any of these are relevant to what we're trying to say. Yeah, right. This is the last one. As superheroes pop up in movies, on television, streaming shows, and games, how do you make sure there's not too much of a good thing? Couldn't that lead to oversaturation? One of the reasons I'm excited about our strategy going forward is that it's multi-dimensional. We're not just serving the same fan base with the same creative vision. We're trying to expand it. Not every fan has to love every piece of what we're doing, but we're putting out more tentacles to be able to reach people with, but it will be richer and more multi-dimensional with a broader array of characters. That will help reduce the fatigue, because you'll see the whole story about the Flash, and then you'll see sequels like Aquaman 2 or new takes on Superman or Shazam, which plays to a family audience. There would be fatigue if we stayed on a more singular path, but because we are broadening, we have much more potential to grow the franchise across various demographics and various types of fans. I call bullshit on that. What are you guys saying in the chat? We got yeah, Scott. Yeah, Scott was saying that Anne Sarnoff saw all her success and was like, "Let me cut that short." Um, Earth Zero, the film did so well though. It did do well, ridiculously well. It broke servers in Russia, wasn't it? And oh, not Russia, in Asia it broke servers. It broke records in Russia. In Brazil, it had twice as much, or maybe four times as much engagement as Wonder Woman 84 did. The US kind of one crashed for a bit as well, you know. So, Summit goes, we will achieve our great prize and we will do it in the like the old ways. Yeah, that's the cool dark side line from Zack Snyder's Justice League. You know, yeah, I think we're gonna have to go. I think we're gonna have to go restore the Snyderverse. Mr. 267 goes, yeah, they're telling us we need to be lucky. We're lucky at what we got, but now they want us to move on to the new DCU direction. Very frustrating to hear, but I expect this because I knew they hated the Snyder Cut. And Angel Cortez goes, Viking, does Jason have more power than Anne? It's interesting. Now, let's just get into this for a second. So basically, the whole article was saying that they're going to move on from the Snyderverse, kind of, and there will be no Ayer cut. I think it's very disrespectful to David Ayer to come out and say that like that. You know, he was done dirty back in 2016 as well, and still turned out a very successful movie. But there is a fan base that wants to see his cut, and his cut wouldn't take that much. He's even said that in the past. His cut's practically done. He had to go back and do reshoots and stuff like that. The editing was taken out of his hands. You know, the marketing was taken out of his hands. So he was done dirty big time with that, so it wouldn't take as much to put the Ayer cut out there. But I just find those comments very disrespectful to someone like David Ayer, who has done some really, really good things for DC. Like that movie Suicide Squad overperformed. It got a lot of money, but we want to see more Jared Leto's Joker. There's more Will Smith in there. There's more Harley Quinn and stuff like that. So yeah, I just find it disrespectful, those kind of comments, and I think it's put more fire to the cause that we want to see the Ayer cut. I know I seen it trending a little bit earlier on there, a Latino Supergirl coming in, stuff like that. That's great. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But it's like they completely ignore what Zack Snyder was doing. Look, you had a black Superman in Cyborg, or a superhero in Cyborg, which I've seen posts online about people with disabilities have been inspired by Ray Fisher's character. You know, big time. Jason Momoa, where he's from, we have the best Batman of all time, the best Superman, Wonder Woman. Like Zack's movies are all female led. The direction in them are absolutely fascinating. Look at Sucker Punch, you know, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Justice League. Lois Lane, Martha Kent, Wonder Woman. They're the core of those three stories. And I'd even say that Wonder Woman is kind of like a mother figure to the Justice League right now in the Snyder Cut. You know, so I don't know. It's like they want to completely ignore what Snyder was doing on his side. And it's funny because I haven't heard them say multiverse in a very long time. And I find this interesting because remember back at DC Fandom, we were talking about the multiverse. Michael Keaton coming in with the Flash. We had Grant Gustin and Ezra Miller showing up together in the Flash. Wow, multiverse, multiverse, multiverse. And I've been saying myself that the DCEU is a multiverse now. You know, anything can happen. Anything can pop up. You can have the Snyderverse over here. You can have CW over there. You can have Titans, Stargirl, Doom Patrol over there. You can have the big theatrical movies on the big screen like an Aquaman 2, a Shazam 2. Something for everybody. But they didn't mention multiverse lately. In this article, it shouldn't even say multiverse either. It's funny because in Zack Snyder's Justice League, if you listen closely, Who says multiverse? Steppenwolf. And Zack Snyder has gotten there before them. He has introduced multiverse into the DC universe before they even could. And I love that because in the Flash movie, that's what they were going to do, multiverse kind of thing. But Zack Snyder got there before them and introduced it into his movie, and I love it because it puts them into a corner big time. And I haven't seen them preach multiverse since, so that is funny now. Um, and can David Ayer work with HBO Max? See, it's right. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, they preach diversity and stuff. But Zack's films are very diverse. But Zack Snyder's Justice League is hugely successful right now. As I said, Russia, the streaming service there, highest of all time. In Asia, HBO Go broke. In Brazil, I think 140% more engagement with Zack Snyder's Justice League than Wonder Woman 84. Now, I know Wonder Woman 84 came out in some theaters, but COVID's been very bad in Brazil for a very long time, and it still is. But still, people wanted to sit down and watch Zack Snyder's Justice League. They wanted to buy it. So it's doing pretty well. The trending every day. This is the most successful DC film maybe ever in terms of engagement online. Like the Joker, they didn't want the Joker either. Walter Hamada did for the Joker. Todd Phillips made around 100 million for the Joker because Warner Brothers gave him payoffs at the end. So if it did well financially, he would get money. Warner Brothers ended up getting hardly anything out of that movie, and it made a billion. And they didn't want that movie. That was a big success in terms of engagement as well because people were saying gun violence and all that kind of stuff. People were still talking about it, and they wanted to go see the Joker, and it was a big success. Zack Snyder's Justice League, they've tried to bury this for years. They've called it a pipe dream, never would happen, stuff like that. They say David Ayer's cut will never happen. We heard that before about the Snyder cut. That only rallied the fans even more. But yeah, it's a huge success right now, and it's still going. People are talking about it. It seems to be a general consensus around the Snyder cut that it's for everybody, and everybody's enjoying it. So I love that so much that critics are liking it, most of them, fans, general audiences, and us, we're all enjoying this movie, and they want to move away from it. It's going to be interesting. But the thing about HBO Max, like, AT&T own the whole thing, yeah. I know they're a big phone company and stuff like this, but they don't really care about theatrical. That's not where they get money back. HBO Max is where they want to hit it big, and that's why Jason Kilar is in there. He was over at Amazon. He learned how it works. He learned how customer engagement is important. How send home the customer happy, and we're all happy right now because we've seen the Snyder cut, but we want to see more. We want to see Justice League 2. We want to see this arc completed. We want to see more of Jared Leto's Joker. So Jason Kilar has listened to the fans, and 1 second, just fix this thing. Okay, sorry, one man show. Yeah, so Jason Kilar, he fun fact if anyone didn't notice, hashtag. So hashtag release the Snyder Cut has an emoji, Snyder Cut, Darkseid, all those characters had emojis. It cost 1 million to do that. I don't know how many exactly there was altogether, but it's definitely over 10 million. So he spent over 10 million on emojis for hashtags for the Snyder Cut. It just shows you why would they pump more and more money. The marketing was pretty big with this movie. I know some of us fans were concerned, oh, the marketing isn't that good for the Snyder Cut. When is it going to ramp up? And I was trying to tell people, like, it's different. It's a streaming movie. It's not like a theatrical one where you send a trailer out a year from now before the movie comes out or stuff like that. It's very much different. So they marketed it pretty well. 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out, multiple trailers, TV spots, brilliant. It was trending nearly every single day leading up to release. And it broke servers then, and people were going insane over this because general audience didn't probably know that Martian Manhunter would be in it. Or Luis Fernandez Twitter, what he just posted. Cool. I'll look at it right now. Yeah, so like it's been a success. It's doing really well. But I just was disappointed by Ann Sarnoff that she came out 4 or 5 days later after the Snyder Cut comes out to say no Ayer cut and that they're moving in a different direction. It was a puff piece to amp up Walter Hamada and Toby Emmerich and their decision to greenlit the Snyder Cut. Thumbs up, guys. Pat in the back. We did it. We're good, guys. Let's move on now to The Flash and the Shazam movie that has no hype around it right now at the moment. So it is. I just look up Lewis here right now. I don't know if I follow Lewis. I do follow Lewis. Lewis is a good guy. I like him because he has cool stats about the streaming services and things like that. So let's load his page up. But yeah, I just find it disrespectful. Today was supposed to be a day about Satana, about Emerald Fennel, an Oscar-nominated director, a female director, getting a big project like a DC project, and this comes out and overshadows it big time. Okay, so this is from Luis Fernando on Twitter 7 minutes ago. According to third-party researcher Samba TV, Zack Snyder's Justice League has been watched by 1.8 million households on HBO Max in the US from March 18th to March 21st. Better than Tom and Jerry. Yes, we beat the mouse and the cat. And the little things, only behind Wonder Woman's 1994 2.4 million households. As always, there is a catch. That's part one. What's the catch? The catch is Samba TV only measures selected opted in smart TVs with its automatic content recognition technology. What means they only reach a limited amount of devices' households. Actual total households may be even higher, as Nielsen and Warner Media data for 184 implied. For instance, I think he has more stuff to say as well. So yeah, so he's saying that it only targets certain devices and stuff like that, and maybe not every single device. So when the actual results come out, it could be even bigger. So it's just behind Wonder Woman 84, which was a theatrical movie as well. So it's just behind that. That had 2.4 million households, and Zack Snyder's Justice League has at the moment 1.8, which it could be even higher. Now that's probably just US as well. I'm guessing that's just US HBO Max. But I just seen the international buzz for Zack Snyder's Justice League has been insane. It really, really has. So that's cool from Lewis there. Keep an eye on his Twitter because he has some good stuff. Aaron goes, if all the cast of Ayer Cut come together just like Snyder Cut, it might change the minds of Warner Brothers. Yeah, it could do. You know, imagine if somebody like Will Smith, I don't think he doesn't have Twitter, but I think that Jared Leto has talked about it as well. You know, so like those people want to see this come out, and yeah, I just think those are famous last words from Ann Sarnoff, big time. You know, like you don't say that. You don't say that because look at the Snyder Cut. It rallies fans even more. It gets fans kind of annoyed, and I was just a bit pissed off today. This kind of article came out the day that the Snyder Cut, a few days after the Snyder Cut comes out, because it's just not really respectful, and they've disrespected their talent in the past. Warner Brothers, they've disrespected David Ayer, Jared Leto's Joker by cutting all of his scenes out, recasting a new Joker, you know, things like that. What they did with Robin Pattinson being the next Batman, Matt Reeves coming in, I'm looking forward to it, but it's just disrespectful to the people that are involved in the roles right now. So even Henry Cavill, they're talking about a new Superman. It's just disrespectful, big time. Even Henry Cavill showing up in Shazam with his head cut off, you know, those types of things. It's just respectful to the fan base, to the character, and maybe the actors as well. So yeah, I just find it very, very annoying. Karen goes, we won't be developing David Ayer's cut. Just saw that. Yeah. My response is the same with Batman. You will, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think it's going to rally fans around even more saying this. But I don't know how you don't. It's ridiculous to say that there will be no more Snyderverse, and it's exciting as a DC fan, as a Snyder fan, to see so much happiness and engagement online, not just with fans, but there's celebrities who watch the Snyder Cut. I think Leslie Jones was trending because she was live watching the Snyder Cut and was doing a commentary or something like that. But yeah, it's just annoying. But am I frozen? Please don't be frozen. Sorry, it's my first time doing it on the YouTube live thing. I think it's okay now. Yeah. It's just really annoying. But I'm loving the engagement, and it's terrible that a company like Warner Brothers can't say, okay, we'll have our theatrical movies, we'll have our Shazams, our Aquaman, and they can be their own thing. You don't have to connect with the Snyderverse. But on HBO Max, let's just have the Snyderverse over here. You can still have your Green Lantern Corps, your Justice League Dark. Just put content out there. I don't care about connective tissue and doing what the Marvel Cinematic Universe has done. I honestly don't care. I don't care about those kinds of things. What I want to see is just really good stories. Really good stories, you know, stuff like that. I want to see the Snyderverse. I want to see Matt Reeves' Batman. I want to see Black Adam, which I can't wait for. I want to see Andy Muschietti's take on the Flash. It doesn't have to connect with the Snyderverse. It doesn't even have to reference Steppenwolf for any of those things. Just tell a good, interesting story. But no, I just think, honestly, my take on that is AT&T want HBO Max to do well. They don't care about cinematic releases. They don't. And these kind of Matrix, Tom and Jerry coming out in theaters and on streaming, that was a compromise to say, okay, you know, it was a compromise. They wanted to up the sales of HBO Max, and it's working so far. HBO Max is doing pretty okay. You know, it's not as good as Disney Plus or Netflix, but it's not as a big of an IP like those. You know, it's not. You know, they probably should rename it to Warner Brothers or something like that, Warner Brothers Go or Warner Brothers Max, because you know HBO Max, nobody really knows what that means. Probably in the US, and it's not even internationally yet, like a Netflix or a Disney Plus, who kind of greenlit stuff as well, along with Toby Emmerich and Walter Amada. But if AT&T were to come in and say, Look, we want HBO Max to be a success. The biggest thing we've ever had is Zack Snyder's Justice League. That has the most views on our YouTube channel. That has the most engagement, all that kind of stuff. So why are you not greenlighting more of Zack Snyder's world? Why not? That's what they'll probably say, and it's something that should be done. So I think they will probably overrule. And Jason Keller, I don't know if Jason Keller has the power right now to overrule Ann Sarnoff or Walter Amato, those types of people. But I think if AT&T give the go ahead and say, Jason, get this going, he probably could. He probably could. But we'll have to see how it develops. I was just annoyed today because I thought it was disrespectful to David Ayer as a director. They could have said something a little bit nicer about that. I thought it was disrespectful towards Emerald Fennell, the director of the Satana movie, Oscar-nominated director, female director. Thought it was disrespectful to her. Today should have been her day to say, "Wow, this movie's coming along. Wow, amazing stuff." Bit disrespectful towards Ray Fisher and his kind of claims as well, saying that Walter Hamada is a good guy and Toby Emmerich is a good guy, and we all had it. We're the reason the Snyder Cut got released. We're the reason that Ray Fisher got his character out there. Just thought that was a bit disrespectful of the Snyder world. That's not just us right now. It's celebrities, it's critics, it's general audiences want to see more of the Snyder Cut right now. So yeah, it's going to be interesting how it develops. I can't wait to see more of the numbers for Zack Snyder's Justice League to see if they overcome Wonder Woman 84. But I bet you the international numbers are crazy as well. We'll just have to see how it develops. Honestly, do I think we'll get to see the Ayer cut someday? I do. Positivity wins in the end. I always thought we would get to see the Snyder Cut, and we have seen the Snyder Cut, and the Snyder Cut's pretty badass. I don't know about those because they will be very expensive. But if HBO Max want to be for the MCU, for Disney Plus, if The Boys can cost a lot for Amazon, that's their biggest thing. Why can't they do it with Zack Snyder's Justice League? But let's just see how it goes and all that kind of stuff. But guys, thanks for watching. I hope it didn't break up too much. First time doing this. If not, I'll get some better software and stuff like that to do live videos. But first time trying it out just like a test to see if it works or not. I'll look back and see. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. But guys, give a like, comment, subscribe if you like the channel, if you like the videos. Let me know below if you're watching a little bit after what your thoughts on the Aaron Sarnoff article today about no Ayer cut, maybe no Snyderverse. They're moving in a different direction. They're happy that they gave Zack Snyder his trilogy, but they're moving on to do other projects like Blue Beetle, like Satana, like Flash 2, and all those types of things, okay? So, yeah, we'll have to see how it develops. I think the fans will roar louder in the end, and I think that might help us big time. So keep tweeting, hashtag restore the Snyderverse, Ayer cut, all that kind of stuff, because it worked the last 3 years to get the Snyder cut out. Why can't it work to get more Joker or Batman or Deathstroke or, all those kinds of things. Be positive about it, and we'll keep on fighting, but fighting in a positive way. Don't be going out calling people names around like that. That doesn't really look too good. Just keep tweeting and positivity will win in the end. Guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Subscribe if you like the channel, and I'll see you then. Enjoy, be kind, and have a good one.